Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we're diving into budget prepping gear that's under $50 that's actually worth having. Now everything I'm showing you today, I personally own and I trust it. You know, there's something that I've noticed. A lot of YouTubers out there, they recommend gear that's either way too expensive or straight up just sponsored. I think it's easy to lose touch with what people actually need and can afford, but prepping doesn't have to drain your wallet, and that's exactly why I'm making this video. Also, I might be changing the channel's name soon, but just the name, not the content. I assure you, it's only a name change. Now let me know your thoughts in the comments, and if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. I would love to have you as part of our community. Now, it is freezing cold, I'm soaking wet, situations wait for no man, so let's go get this video started. All right, folks, let's start with self-defense. Now, this is something that we've talked about quite a bit on this channel, and as you know, there's nothing better than a firearm here for defending yourself. But realistically, not everyone lives where you can own a firearm, and maybe legally you just can't own one. So let's discuss some practical, budget-friendly alternatives. Now, first up, ladies and gentlemen, we have some pepper spray here. Now, while I personally carry a firearm, my wife, she carries this Saber Red M60 pepper spray in her purse. It's very compact, it's easy enough to carry. For even greater protection, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be recommending for you all out there the Magnum 120 Extra Large Pepper Spray. Now, this comes in around $20, but again, ladies and gentlemen, please check the legality in your area before going out buying and carrying pepper spray. Next up, folks, the expandable baton. Now, I have one of these in pretty much every single one of my bags, and I generally keep one in my truck. Now, the one that I'm showing you here today, this is considered law enforcement only where I live, so always make sure you're confirming with your local law enforcement to see if you can even carry an expandable baton. If you can legally own a baton, I am going to be recommending the Smith & Wesson 21-inch baton. Now, this is around $45. It's tough, it's lightweight, and it is very effective. Let me assure you, you do not want to be smacked by one of these babies. Let's talk about sheath knives. Now, sheath knives like this, these are going to be dedicated primarily to self-defense. Now, I always recommend something like this knife right here, which is the Smith & Wesson SW7 Tactical Tonto. And these are for sale online from Smith & Wesson for about $47. Now, this knife right here, I have had this knife for years, and I can assure you, ladies and gentlemen, that this knife is easy to sharpen, and it is very, very durable. But again, it is built solely for self-defense use. Later on, we're going to discuss some multi-purpose knives. Just remember, get the highest quality knife that you can possibly afford. And above all, ladies and gentlemen, make sure that you're getting proper training on how to use these knives in a self-defense situation. All right, now let's talk about fire. Ferro rods. These are incredibly popular with preppers and YouTubers. I own several like this one, and this one is Coghlan's Flint Striker. But guys, let me give you a reality check. Ferro rods, flint and steel, yeah, they're nice to have, but they're not practical. They're difficult to use when it's raining or everything's wet outside. They're easy to lose. Trust me, you put this guy down, I guarantee it will grow legs and walk away. So definitely have one of these handy, but honestly, buying in bulk, lighters like this, the Bic lighter, this makes much more sense. Now, you can go online right now and you can buy these neon gas lighters. You can get 50 of them for about $11. More importantly, these take a lot of skill and practice to use, and pretty much everybody can use one of these. Candles. These are something that not a lot of other YouTubers talk about. I mean, I keep plenty of them around my house. And my wife and I regularly use them during power outages. Now, I specifically recommend these, the 9-hour white candles. They're $25 for a pack of 20. These are compact, they're affordable, and they are incredibly easy to store in a bug-out bag or in your vehicle, wherever. And they're significantly easier to start a fire from scratch. Candles can help you get a fire going quicker. You simply light the candle, and you use that to get your tinder going, and plus it gives you a little bit of light. Now, when it comes to medical gear, the best advice is always the simplest. Having some medical supplies is better than none. Now, I typically build my own medical kits because I have extended training. And that allows me to be very specific about what I include in my kits. But don't get me wrong, off-the-shelf kits are just as good. Now, in my wife's car, I have a Poigic 420-piece first aid kit. It's affordable at around $40. It's extremely well organized, and it even includes notation cards that kind of give you first aid, CPR basics, stuff like that. Now, when choosing your kit, make sure that it fits your level of experience. And don't forget to regularly check expiration dates on things inside your kit. If you guys want a detailed breakdown on how I actually build my first aid kits, I will leave a link to that video down below in the description or the comments. Folks, communication is crucial in any SHTF situation. If you haven't watched it yet, I highly recommend you guys go over and check out my recent radio video where I break down some of the top radios that I actually own, how they perform, and we actually do some distance tests in that video. But for now, I'm going to say that the Baofeng UV21R is a solid choice, and it's around $26. And thank you to the amazing community that we've built here. Many subscribers commented in that video, and they have far extensive radio experience. And they recommended the Tridadio TidRadio TD-H3. It's only slightly more expensive, comes in around $30. Guys, I genuinely love how this channel has become such a supportive community. We are here to help each other out. All right, my favorite section, tools and gadgets. Good tools make all the difference in becoming a prepared citizen, but you do not need to break the bank to start your collection. Now, let's start off with the multi-tool. I am a huge fan of Leatherman, and this is my go-to. This is the Leatherman Signal, but it does come in around $140. A more budget-friendly option would be the Leatherman Rev. It's about $50. Just make sure whatever multi-tool that you want to buy is that you buy one that has a knife on the outside. It makes it much more easy to access, to cut rope and things like that. And we're saving the blade on our dedicated self-defense knife. Next up, battery banks. Battery banks are essential. And if you guys are going to buy one, you want to get one with at least a 20,000 milliamp hour battery. Now, my Omar USB-C battery bank right here, it's been discontinued. So I went out and I bought the OHO VIV 33,800 milliamp hour power bank. It's under $20 and it's holding up really well. I just haven't tested it enough to tell you guys if I trust it or not. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about our favorite prepper item, paracord. Now, paracord is a must-have, and I recommend Paracord Planet's 200-foot spool. It's about $30, and I like all my paracord on a spool because I like to pull, 1 foot lengths out, cut them, use them for whatever. And I think we all know that once you wrap paracord up around your hand and throw it in a bag, yeah, that's never coming out straight ever again. Folding saws, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I prefer this Gerber folding saw. It was super cheap money, and it is razor sharp. My knuckles can attest to that. You're going to want your saw to be able to fold up, go into a pouch like this that you can hang off your belt or tie to a bag. We're not looking to cut cordwood here. It's just for basic pruning, maybe building a shelter, something like that. We want it to be easily deployable, quick, and convenient. Lastly, ladies and gentlemen, headlamps. This Nebo LED headlamp, it's my favorite. It's rechargeable via USB-C, clips right on the bottom there. You can plug that into your portable battery bank. It has a magnetic bit on the end so that you can stick it to anything metal and use it. Now here's a little trick you can do with your headlamp. You can actually zip tie this to the back of your hat here on the snapback. It only takes a few seconds to do, and ladies and gentlemen, all you have to do is turn your hat around and you have a headlamp that you can turn on, see what you're doing. If you do it loosely enough, you can actually tilt it up to be able to look around. And ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something, you'll never lose another headlamp ever again. Finally, let's talk about backpacks now. I own a ton of backpacks, and I got to admit, these are the higher end models, and I don't really own one that's under $200. But I know that that's not realistic for everyone, especially if you're just starting out. So I spent a good amount of time online researching an affordable yet reliable option for all of you out there, and I found the Rebo Gear Military Tactical Backpack. At around $40, it offers impressive durability. It has plenty of storage and many of the same features that you'd find in packs that cost 5 times as much. I don't own one. I can't say if it's perfect, but for 40 bucks, again, how can you go wrong? A quick mention, dry bags. They are incredibly useful for protecting gear from water. Personally, I use this Marchway 30-liter dry bag. It's around $22. It's fantastic to throw in your vehicle, the bed of your truck, carry all your gear when conditions are soaking wet. But here's one tip that nobody else ever mentions. Go out and buy yourself a patch repair kit for your dry bag. You will thank me later. Just chuck it in the dry bag and never take it out. Now that wraps up my list of budget-friendly Prepared Citizen gear. If you found this video helpful, please consider subscribing and dropping a comment below. What budget preps do you all recommend? Now I read every single comment and your input really helps here. If you want to support the channel even more, we do have memberships here on YouTube and on Patreon, but honestly folks, just subscribing, liking the video, and engaging in the comments helps more than you could possibly imagine. Remember, the best time to start preparing was yesterday. The second best time is right now, and that's all I got for you. Okay, one more thing. There's a lot of great YouTube channels out there, but don't let them bully or push you into buying super expensive gear. Don't feel bad if you can't afford the gear that the guy with 1 million subscribers can afford. Just remember, always train with what you have, and if you save up your money, buy the best gear you can afford. Nobody should be making you feel bad if you can't afford the most expensive gear.